はい。うん。There is no point in philosophy unless it helps experiment of suffering. Originally, the philosophy of love was like the blood of the psychiatrist to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychology, willing to know it or not, is carrying out some of the great philosophers' most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the direction that it takes to make him happy. His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness is present in smaller salaries, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by a many sociologists described a number of studies which have indeed shown the one person's income is above the poverty level, and includes a larger one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens. As wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrate. There is no point in philosophy unless it helps dispel mental suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today's psychiatrist to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychology, the great philosophy most fundamental belief. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make a man happy? His answer include friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety. He insists is present in small salary, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by an English sociologist describes a number of studies which have indeed shown that once a personal income is above the poverty level, and includes a larger one can contribute next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens. As wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrate. There is no point in philosophy unless it helps dispel mental suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like the that of today's psychiatrists to provide answers to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, knows it whether it knows it or not, whether it knows it or not, There is no point philosophy unless it helps. Number 49. There is no point in philosophy unless it helps dispel mental sufferings. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today psychiatrists, to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry modern psychiatry to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether whether not noise or not, noise or not, in fact, in modern psychiatry, whether it or not knows it or not, is carrying out some of the great truths for most handled beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take? What does it take? What does it take? What does it take? Consider the great philosophy of its most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make him happy? His answer include friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, he insists, is present in small salaries, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by an eminent sociologist described a number of studies which have indeed shown that one's personal income is above the poverty level, and increasing larger, one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Gradually thus happens, as wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding distinguish. なんか微妙だな。And there's no point in philosophy unless it helps dispel mental suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today's psychiatrists, to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, is carrying some of the great philosopher's most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make them happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, he answered, is present in small salaries, but will not rise with the largest. A recent published book by an eminent sociologist described a number of studies which have indeed shown that once a person's income is above the poverty level, an increasingly larger one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quite a reverse happiness, as well. ハピネスって言ったの今。ハプンをハピネスって言うな。Quite the reverse happens. Quite the reverse happens. Increasing larger ones contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens. As wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrate. There is no point in philosophy unless it helps dispel mental sufferings. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today's psychiatrists, to provide an answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, is carrying out some. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make a man happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness to insist is present in small salary, but will not rise the largest. A recently published book by an eminent sociologist described a number of studies which have indeed shown The ransom personal income is above the poverty level, and increasing larger one contributes to next to nothing to happiness. Quite the best happens as wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrate. Mm. There is no point in philosophy unless you have to spare mental suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today's psychiatrist, to provide answers to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, is carrying out some of the great philosophers' most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make me happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, he insists, is present in small salaries, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by Anil Sociologist describes a number of studies which have indeed shown that less percent of income is above the poverty level, and including larger one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens. As wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrate. Hmm. There's nothing in philosophy unless I have despair of mental sufferings. Originally, the philosopher's role was that of the psychiatrist to provide answers to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, is carrying out some of the grassroots most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make a man happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, he insists, is present in small salaries, but will rise with the largest. A recently published book by an eminent sociologist describes a number of studies which have indeed shown that one's personal income is above the poverty level, and increasing larger one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens. As wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrates. Uh, mm, Number philosophy always have this mental suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like that of today's psychologists to provide answer to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether or not is carrying the same best philosophy, most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man provided a confronted question. What does it take to make a man happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such a thing as illness and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, he insists, depends on salaries, will not rise the largest. A recently published book, Emily Sociology, described a number of studies which have indeed shown non-personal income, the poverty level, and including a larger one, contribute next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens, as work accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrates. Disintegrate. There's no point philosophy unless the help experiment of suffering. Originally, the philosophy's role was like that of today the psychiatrist, to provide answers on how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether known or not, is carrying some of the great philosophy's most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront that question. What does it take to make me happy? His answer include friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of mind to deliver happiness, he insisted, is present necessarily, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by eminent sociologists described a number of studies which have indeed shown that one's personal income is above the poverty level, and increasing larger one contribute next to nothing to happiness. Quite the reverse happens, as the wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrates. There is no point in philosophy unless it helps the experiment of suffering. Originally, the philosopher's role was like the psychiatrist to provide answers to how we are to live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it now is or not, is carrying out some of the great philosopher's most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it take to make you happy? His answer includes friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness insists is present in small salaries, but will not rise with the largest. A recently published book by an eminent sociologist describes a number of studies which have indeed shown that one's personal income is above the poverty level, and including a larger one contribute next to nothing to happiness. Collective best happens as wealth accumulates, family solidarity and community bonding disintegrates. Mm. There's no point in self-study unless it helps dispel mental sufferings. Originally, the philosopher's role was like the psychiatrist, the relevant answer to how we live. In fact, modern psychiatry, whether it knows it or not, is carrying out some rigorous philosophy of the most fundamental beliefs. Consider Epicurus. He was a man prepared to confront the question, what does it create make me happy? His answer include friendship, freedom, a willingness to analyze and reduce anxiety about such things as death, illness, and money. The capacity of money to deliver happiness, she insists, is present in small salaries, but when rise with the largest. A recently published book by an eminent sociologist describes a number of studies which have Indiana shown the rise of personal income is above the poverty level, and encouraging a larger one contributes next to nothing to happiness. Quarterly best happen as wealth accumulates, families are divided, and community bonding disintegrates.